Hi boys and girls, I've got a good story again for you today on this miserable day. So I've been finding sometimes when you're stuck in the house all day, it is really difficult to sleep at night. And I'm sure that so many of you will be feeling that as well. So I've got a story about finding it difficult to sleep, and I'm sure that this resonates really true with some of your mummies and daddies as well. So you'll probably know these characters. It's called Peace at Last by Jill Murphy. Let's start. Peace at last. The hour was late. How can you tell that the hour's late? You see the stars out, and the owl who's nocturnal, and the moon. Everyone's lights are off. The owl was late. Mr. Bear was tired. How can you tell? How can you tell he's tired? Mrs. Bear was tired, and Baby Bear was tired. Oh, that's what it looks like in my house on an evening. Me yawning away on the sofa. So they all went to bed. There they are, 9 o'clock, bedtime. Mrs. Bear fell asleep. Mr. Bear didn't. There he is, look, so tired, but he's awake. Mrs. Bear began to snore. Snore, went Mrs. Bear. Snore, snore, snore. Oh no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he got up and went to sleep in Baby Bear's room. Baby Bear was not asleep either. He was lying in bed pretending to be an aeroplane. How many of you do that? Meow, went Baby Bear. Meow, meow. Oh no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he got up and went to sleep in the living room. Poor Mr. Bear. He's not happy. And I bet this is all of you with your lights on, pretending to be asleep and not really asleep. Tick-tock went the living room clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock, cuckoo, cuckoo. Oh no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he went off to sleep in the kitchen. Oh dear. Drip, drip, went the leaky tap. Went the refrigerator. What do you think he said? Oh, no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he got up and he went to sleep in the garden. Bet it's not very nice out in the garden. I wouldn't like to sleep in the garden. You must be really desperate. Well, you would not believe what noises there are in the garden at night. Doo, whip, doo, woo, went the owl. Snuffle, snuffle, went the hedgehog. Meow, sang the cats on the wall. Oh no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he went off to sleep in the car. Just gets worse for poor Mr. Bear, doesn't it? He doesn't even have a quilt. Just his dressing gown. It was cold in the car and uncomfortable. But Mr. Bear was so tired that he didn't notice. He was just falling asleep when all the birds started to sing and Sun peeped in at the window. What's happening? The birds are singing and the sun's peeping in. Oh, what is happening? It's time to be morning. Tweet, tweet went the birds. Shine, shine went the sun. Oh no, said Mr. Bear. I can't stand this. So he got up and went back into the house. Poor Mr. Bear. I know the feeling. In the house, Baby Bear was fast asleep, and Mrs. Bear had turned over and wasn't snoring anymore. Mr. Bear got into bed and closed his eyes. Peace at last, he said to himself. He looks nice and snuggly there, doesn't he? Went the clock. Mrs. Bear sat up and rubbed her eyes. Good morning, dear, she said. Did you sleep well? Not very, dear, yawned Mr. Bear. Never mind, said Mrs. Bear. I'll bring you up a nice cup of tea. Look at him. Do you think he's happy that it's the morning? Don't think so. This is how I look in the morning. Not impressed. And she did. There's that lovely tea. Oh, he looks pretty tired though. And Baby Bear's right there. On him, not letting him alone. Poor Daddy Bear. Goodness me. Oh, I like that one. That rang very, very true. So make sure that you get yourselves to bed at a reasonable time so your mummies and daddies can get to bed at a reasonable time. So when this is you jumping all over your mummies and daddies and aunties and uncles and whoever's staying in your house on a morning, you can make sure that they've had a really lovely night's sleep and they're ready for the day, because they have lots of things to do and it can be very tiring. All of those things that happen at night. So tonight, bedtime on time and straight to sleep. No noisy aeroplanes in bed. See you all tomorrow.